chat show is a great speaking and listening activity because it engages all children and gives them some motivation. It means every child in the class is actually part of the chat show, so therefore they all have a purpose to generate some questions.
Okay, Wolf, so we're going to come out into the playground and we're going to creep and look for Little Red Riding Hood, but remember to be very, very quiet.
So before the chat show actually takes place, I ask the children to think about getting into role of the wolf. I do this by getting them to go out into the playground and pretend that they are actually the big bad wolf.
Show those big, mean wolf teeth.
Following this, when they go back to the carpet, I get the children to try and describe the wolf.
Big! Let's do it! Yes! Creepy, scary, greedy, furry.
Also, I ask them to think about what they'd like to ask the wolf should they get a chance to meet him.
Have a think, press your wolf brains. What would you like to ask Mr Woolf?
How big are you? How long are your claws?
As the learning objective was actually to pose questions, to begin with, I gave them a simple sentence.
Ilhan in a big voice.
I think you are very mean, Mr. Wolf.
Is that a question?
No.
Why not?
Because he hasn't got a question mark at the end.
Can you put this sentence into a question? Savani.
Why are you very mean?
So once we've actually established what makes a good question, I ask the children to go back to their tables to actually come up with the questions themselves.
Where do you live? How long toenails do you have?
How long are your toenails? That's an excellent question.
Why do you always eat children? I don't like it on your house. I don't have a
And make some lines here with your chairs. And I think here is our special guest, Mr Woolf. Mr Woolf, how are you feeling today?
Very good.
Very scary. Some of our audience have some questions. Let's have a question from the back.
Do you have a car? No, I don't have a car, but I can be very sneaky and walk sometimes.
So you like walking, do you, Mr Woolf?
Yes.
In order to keep the chat show running, I actually act as the chat show host. I do this so that all children get a chance to take part, rather than the wolf choosing just his friends.
And let's take a question from this gentleman over here.
Why do you eat children?
Why do you eat children, Mr Woolf?
They are tasty.
Would anyone like to say anything to Mr Woolf, especially about him eating children and find them very tasty?
So when I'm acting as a chat show host, sometimes it's necessary to prompt the audience because sometimes they may hear a response from the wolf and then want to ask another question.
Why don't you eat normal food? Because no one lets me buy them because I'm such a criminal. Why are you such a criminal? I am angry and no one lets me eat them.
So I'm actually extending the children's own speaking and listening because I'm getting them to think about the response so they're actually listening, and then from that they're generating some more questions.
Mr Woolf, have a look around. Who do you think looks tasty here?
Using the camera in the lesson makes the chat show more realistic and exciting, but it's also a great way for the children to self-assess in tomorrow's lesson.
And does he look very tasty?
His eyeballs look like meat.
The chat show idea could be used in all year groups and also with other texts. It's also a great way to get everyone in the class involved because everyone gets the chance to speak and also everyone gets the chance to listen to either their talk partner's responses, but more importantly to the responses of the wolf.
Okay, so today we've been very lucky to have our very, very special, mean, evil guest on our chat show. So let's thank Mr Woolf.
Arjun was acting and we were asking questions, and asking questions was fun.